related conditional statements. After watching this video, I will be able to write the converse, inverse, and contrapositive. So when you have a conditional statement in if-then form, then we can have what's known as related conditionals. So a converse is basically caused by switching the hypotheses and the conclusion. So by exchanging or switching. The inverse is formed by making it negative. So negating or saying the opposite is true, and it's usually just by including words not in it. And then the contrapositive is a combination of both converse and inverse, where we switch the order and we also include nots. So looking at a few of the examples, if we have measurement of angle A is 35, then angle A is an acute angle. That is the conditional statement, and the hypothesis is measurement of angle A is 35 in red, and angle A is an acute angle is the conclusion in blue. The converse would happen by keeping the if and then right where they are, but switching the hypothesis and the conclusion. So now, if angle A is an acute angle, notice how what was blue before is now in the front, then measurement of angle A is 35. So the order switched. For an inverse, the order stays exactly the same. So it is measurement of angle A is not 35, then angle A is not an acute angle. The only difference for the inverse is that notice now there is a word not, negating it, making it like opposite, saying it is not true. For the contrapositive, the order switched. So just like your converse, there is a different order. Measurement of angle A is an acute angle, and angle A is 35. But just like the inverse, there's also a word not included. This is very confusing, so let's look at an example. So here we have lions or cats that can roar. We do not have it in if-then form, meaning it's not as in a conditional. So we're going to rewrite it as a conditional statement. So my conditional statement now is if an animal is a lion, then it is a cat that can roar. I am going to highlight my hypothesis and my conclusion because I want to be able to know which one is which when it comes time to switch. Okay, so now for the converse, we switch the order. So I'm just going to write switch order as a mental note that I know my conclusion will become my hypothesis and my hypothesis will become my conclusion. So now I will have if an animal is a cat that can roar, then it is a lion. So notice the only thing that changed was the order of the hypothesis and the conclusion. Next, we want to find the inverse. So the inverse is keep the order and then just have nots. So now we have if an animal is not a lion, then it is not a cat that can roar. So we still have the same order as the original conditional statement. However, now we have the words not to negate what's happening. So for the last one, contrapositive, like I said, it's a combination of the converse and the inverse, meaning we will switch the order and include nots. So now my statement will read, if an animal is not a cat that can roar, then it is not a lion. So notice how the conclusion and the hypothesis were switched from the original and the word nots were included.